All right, guys. What I wanted to do here is just briefly go over the footprint chart and exactly what the footprint chart is. Um, all the footprint chart is it's showing you what's happening inside a specific bar in the market. For example, I have the open right here, the regular trading hour open on the S&P 500, the E-mini. And all of these bars right here are the buy and sell activity within that particular bar and at specific levels. Each one of those numbers is one contract. So, for example, up here, right, you had 90 on the offer and 0 went off at the bid and so on and so forth, all the way down. So that's what that is showing you. Uh, the footprint itself, you can see that I have some of these shaded areas, right? And later on, I have all the lines that are connected to those shaded areas off right now. But I'll turn them on so that you can see how these areas ultimately have an impact on what the market will do. Anything that's shaded in red is heavy selling. Anything shaded in green is heavy buying. And there's specific thresholds that I have, been able to determine from a historical basis have a strong basis on price. So, as you see all these areas, if you see red shading, that means that selling has outpaced buying. Or you see the green shading, it means buying has outpaced selling. That's all that means. And so what you're looking at is a point and figure chart, but you're actually seeing inside that X or that O on that point and figure chart. You could set this up for a bar chart too. It doesn't necessarily need to be a point and figure chart. So that's all you're really looking at when we're talking about a footprint chart. And they call it a footprint chart because it's the market leaving its footprint, right? So this was the regular session open right here. And as you can see, as we go through the day, you can see all these different bars and the buying and selling at each specific level. And that's all the footprint chart is doing for you. And when I say that's all the footprint chart is doing for you, I don't mean to discount the fact that it's not one of the most valuable tools you can use in your trading arsenal. Because if you're not using the footprint chart, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Because, like I said, it allows you to dissect exactly what's going on, who's in control, how strongly are they in control, and what it is that they're doing. So it's telling you the story as the day goes on. So let me turn all of the lines on now. So now all the lines are on. And all these lines is I'm marking exactly where these levels occurred. So, you've got a green line here where there was all that buying. You got these two red lines here where there was all that selling. All these lines up here are from later on in the day. So all those up here aren't going to impact price in here because that hasn't even been established yet. But I'm going to show you exactly how that plays out, right? So you had all this selling in here near the open, about 8 minutes into the open. You had buying here, strong buying here, right near the open. And what happens in that area? We start to chop around, right? Because that was an area where they were fighting over. So once you get down to those levels that there is going to be some good activity one way or the other. In this instance, it broke out to the upside. So now you have some big selling up here, and you've got some big buying up here. And what ends up happening with that buying later on, right? You've got this buying We come down to it. I mean, that seems to be the line in the sand. And then when you finally get some selling that comes in here, now it's not even able to get back up to where all that buying was happening. So it's weak. So now you have more selling there. And you can see, this was the big area early in the morning where you had the buying and the selling. After we had this decline, we came back up to where that fight was, and it couldn't penetrate. So once again, we continue to be weak. It's telling you that the bears are in control. You had a lot of buying right here, quite a bit of buying, and you came down, you came right back up to it, and you broke hard again to the downside. Now, the reason I have this line blue is because this selling came in right at the low of that bar. So that if you get selling or buying near the top or the bottom of a bar, it's going to have more of an impact on price. And you're going to see as we go through here exactly what that blue ended up doing for the course of the day. Right? After that blue was put in place, it was an integral part for the rest of the day. And that's the only reason I had that line blue, is because that selling took place right on the low of that bar. And what ends up happening, right? We break down through it. Now we're chopping around a little bit, come back up to it. We can't break it. We can't break these levels either. So we know that it still continues to be weak. We start to chop around, and as you can see, those lines ultimately become an integral part of the day as the day progresses. We've got some buying in here. And then we end up rallying up, and we can't get through where the initial buying and selling took place near the beginning of the day. So this area right in here, from 70 down to 67, more so I would say in this area where the blue is and the green and the red, that is going to be key come Monday morning or Sunday evening when the S&P opens back up. But the primary focus of this video is just to show you how the basis of the footprint, what it tells you, what it shows you, and how by seeing where the fighting has taken place, strong fighting, that it can be a tool in your arsenal as to look for spots to either get long or to get short. And typically I'll have lines that are larger or smaller based upon the amount of buying and selling that took place at that particular level. So you can see, look at this, these red lines right here, just where my cursor is here, and see how that was a huge play. And we came back up. I mean, this is where the footprint is just indispensable. And there's a lot of different ways that you can utilize the footprint. I don't have the Delta profile over here because I just wanted to give the very basics, but you can see the value of the footprint. And I'll go more in depth on how to use the footprint, how I use it, but it just gives you an idea, not an idea, it actually is like the narrator of the market as it continues to develop. So I'm trying to keep these videos under 10 minutes so as to keep you captivated and so on and so forth. But feel free to rewind the video, go ahead and look through the chart and see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. And if you've got any questions, feel free to go to the Facebook account. It's www.facebook.com/trading essence / TradingEssence / I'm going to have to start putting this up on this chart too. But I also have a YouTube channel that I started that'll have the videos on there as well. So until we talk again, look into these footprints because they're good stuff for sure.